What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dukes of Blather. I'm Wick. That's okay. I'll have to cut that out. As soon as I start, I've never messed that up before. All right. Remember, Scott, we edit this. I've never done that before, ever. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dukes of Blather. I'm Sam. That's Wick. And as always, we're coming to you with the support of Invictus Clinic in Woodstock, Georgia. They offer hope to patients with major depressive disorders, postpartum depression, bipolar depression, OCD, PTSD, and severe anxiety. Severe depression takes a huge toll on your everyday life, and ketamine therapy offers a chance to find hope again. Many patients have tried numerous oral medications, but have found little to no relief, as well as difficult to tolerate side effects. Ketamine treatment is highly effective and safe. It's time to get off harmful medications and start living again. If you're in pain, get help from the Invictus Clinic in Woodstock, Georgia. You can get more information from them at 770-850-1042. Everybody, I hope you're having a great week. Again, this is Sam. That's Wick. And we got a special guest with us tonight. I want everybody welcome Scott Blank. Say, Scott, how you doing?
I'm good. I just watched the last quarter of the Super Bowl, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Wick,
I thought it was going to be a good
tonight,
game.
Sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad the three of us are together doing this. I think it'll be a lot of fun tonight.
It's going to be a blast.
We'll have a good time. Yeah. So, yeah, Super Bowl. Scott, surprised by the turnout?
I thought it would be close. I really did, because I thought the Chiefs were the better team, but I would just never bet against Tom Brady. I chose him to come out on top, but I mean, he came out strong. He was determined to win, and like he said at post game, that's probably the best game they played all year. So
the defense was on swole.
Yeah.
Defenses win championships. I think it was a big deal tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got a little skittish about the Chiefs' chances once I heard about the wreck his son was involved in Thursday night, like Andy Reid's son.
How bad was that? I just heard about that.
Apparently, it's really bad. I mean, he's gone through hell with those kids, his sons.
Really?
And
I think Chiefs favored by 3.
Yeah.
If you took the Buccaneers, you got paid tonight. Congratulations to all those that took that. Defense wins championships. What's this? Tom Brady's 7th?
7th.
Yeah. And greatest of all time, Scott?
It's hard to deny it now. I mean, I could bring up the cheating and all that, but I mean, it's really hard to deny somebody that's been there 10 times in his career.
Wick, greatest of all time?
No.
It's so hard for Wick.
I'm still going with Steve DeBerg.
Oh, God.
I will never say he's as good as Joe Montana, but he'll never be better than Joe Montana. I think he's had a little more luck than Joe Montana had.
I don't know.
Wasn't that like
let me ask you
my argument
this.
against that is that Joe Montana, he was the first one to run the West Coast offense, and I believe that he got a lot of mileage out of that.
Do you think
he was good? He wasn't a bad quarter. He was a great quarterback. Still won't take that away.
Skill wise, coming out of college, Joe Montana is more talented than Tom Brady.
Skill wise, there's a lot of people more talented than both of them.
Right. But I'm saying if you're talking about the two of them being the best, I mean, coming out of college, I mean, Joe Montana is highly touted, right?
I heard a story about that he was like a mid-first rounder, I think. And Bill Walsh called all the other teams and talked crap about him. So he actually fell down the draft board into the 49ers lap.
Do you know what round he was picked in?
I think it was second, maybe high second round. I don't know. I can't remember.
Let's see here. He was a second. Let's see. 82nd pick overall in the 3rd round.
3rd round, yeah. So he went down.
Yeah. And of course, we know what was Tom Brady like?
7th, wasn't he?
7th rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, But does this kind of put to bed that Bill Belichick's responsible for the system Brady wins in, and Brady's just a good quarterback? He's we
Yeah.
can argue a lot of stuff here and there, but he's obviously good enough to win Super Bowls, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think that's arguable.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he could easily have taken the same knowledge to Tampa Bay with him.
Yeah.
That
well,
Belichick was responsible for. But yeah, I've seen Belichick. We all have seen it. Him have great seasons without Tom Brady. He's taken a
Not this
quarterback
season.
and went to the playoffs, Matt Castle.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who went on to, I don't think he's in the game anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I kind of feel like New England kind of tanked a little this year on purpose. I think they wanted to get an early pick and try to get a quarterback.
Yeah, I have a hard time. What did they wind up 7-9?
I don't even think they were that good.
That's tough for me to swallow. A Belichick losing season is legitimate.
It's the same argument I make for Tom Brady when I say, how many really great players did they put around Tom Brady? I mean, yeah, Gronk they drafted, so they didn't know how Gronk was going to turn out. And they put some good defensive and offensive linemen around him for sure, and defensive backs. But other than Randy Moss, I can't think of a great wide receiver they've ever put in his lap to work with. And when he had Randy Moss, they had a phenomenal relationship. So a little bit of Wes Welker slot, yeah, sure. But he was also, I believe, he was cut from Miami, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So I mean, but I mean, you look at teams now with Kansas City, and of course Tom Brady is finally with a team that has a lot of weapons. I mean, he's probably had more weapons he's ever had. And teams now are just balling out. I mean, Minnesota, I mean, you name it, all the way down the list. There are teams that have two wide receivers that could be wide receiver ones and on any team. I mean, Atlanta, Julio Jones and Ridley. I mean, they got the weapons. And New England just never felt like they had like a 1 and 2 that were monstrous for them, and they still were winning Super Bowls. So somebody deserves a credit up there. All I know is that Belichick's not having a good year. I think that they're kind of throwing it a little bit because I think they're trying to get a good pick. But other than Gronk and Brady, they don't have a great track record of draft picks.
Not really. But they've always drafted late in the first round.
They're 7-9. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like Detroit. How many first round picks has Detroit had early first and just never done anything with them? So I don't know. It was a good game. Tampa Bay looked really, really good out there. Brady probably coming back, Scott.
He already said he was.
Okay, there you go. I think I think a lot of that was he's only 1,000 yards behind Breeze all time, and I think if Breeze is definitely done, which is the rumor, then Brady will crush that. But he's also
easily.
I'd like to know what Matt Ryan's stats look like at the same age versus Tom Brady.
I don't know. I think until Matt Ryan really proves on the wins what he's got. But I had this argument with a lot of people on Matt Stafford going to the Rams, where they were having a discussion whether or not it was a good trade for the Rams, and I'm like, God, yeah. I mean, Matt Stafford's been in a hellhole for how long? Yeah, but he had Calvin Johnson. I said, yeah, but he hasn't had shit since then. I mean, I can think of maybe they had. Who was that little running back out of USC he was good, but
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush. They had Reggie Bush for a year who did something for him, but Reggie Bush was injury prone constantly. And it's like, I don't know that Matt Stafford's had the weapons he'll have in with the Rams now. And I think they paid too much for him. I mean, this is not really a sports show, so I won't get into all that, but I think he's definitely a major upgrade over Goff. And sometimes I just think that, when people don't win championships and they're not in the playoffs a lot, they kind of get crapped on. I think Matt Ryan's somebody who gets crapped on because the record doesn't say, hey, look what he's done for the team. they've been average more than they've been better than average. And
Which is kind of in a unique position there. I mean, he may be the only, well, future Hall of Famer
yeah.
that gets
Well,
that kind
Julio,
of.
right? I mean,
Well,
Julio's got to be
I
in that
guess
conversation.
Marino got. Marino
Oh,
was
yeah,
on a
okay.
lot of crap teams,
Yeah.
but maybe the
Eh,
best pure passer of all time.
Marino.
Marino, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it did feel like the Super Bowl. It kind of snuck up on me. I don't even know who this Weekend guy is. I thought it was a band. I was amazed that
Oh,
it was
God.
a person. I didn't.
You're old.
I told my wife, yeah, I'm old. I told my wife, she goes, oh, that's the Weekend. And I was like, where's the rest of the band? She was like, it's just one guy. And I was like, well, that's more of a weekday than a weekend.
Isn't it? I guess it's
Yeah.
kind of like a Nine Inch Nails deal where it's just him, but that's his name is The Weeknd.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's-
But Nine Inch Nails, I don't know if you were on the outside, you really knew that it was one person. You know what I mean? I think you assumed it was a band. Most people did.
There's a bunch of hired people
Yeah.
to do Trent
He had
Reznor.
he looks completely different than he did a year ago. He had some sort of facial reconstruction done.
Trent
The
Reznor?
Recently.
Weeknd.
The Weekend, yeah.
Oh, really?
He just looks crazy compared to what he used to look like.
Well, doesn't he sing the song about I Can't Feel My Face?
Yeah.
Isn't that I always thought that was about cocaine.
I don't know.
Think about
If
all
it
the
is.
cocaine you've done, Wick. Where your face was numb. Those mountains of cocaine you've done in your life. You can't feel your face when you're with her, but you love her. That's a absolute direct cocaine reference. Am I wrong here?
Seems like it to me.
Yeah. And then we're parading this guy around on the Super Bowl. People were saying, oh man, I'm so glad that there's finally a Super Bowl show where my kids can watch. And I was thinking, yeah, wasn't that dude singing about cocaine with like a top 20 hit there?
Well, what did the Rolling Stones play when they? I'm sure when there were a couple of drug references there too.
I usually hate the halftime show.
Well, is it just the Weekend that played
Yeah,
tonight?
that was it. That was it.
Okay, I didn't
Nice.
even watch any of it except the fourth quarter.
I assume because I was fighting with my kids all night. It was nonstop. And then I was frustrated because last night I don't know if you guys have ever hit your pinky toe on something.
Yeah,
I hit my
of course.
pinky toe on something last night. I was wearing socks. And I hit that son of a bitch so hard that I saw blood on my sock and I was like, I'm not taking them off because I don't want to see this. I'm pretty sure my toe's gone. Like that's how bad it hit. And I was like, oh my God. Like this is like, you hit it and you're like, shit, for a minute and then it kind of goes away. This went on throbbing for like another 45 minutes. And I was like, I can take this sock off and see what is bleeding. Or I can just say, I'm going to bed and I'm not. And I just went to bed. I was like, I'm not even going to look at this. It ended up not being that bad, as you can imagine. But that was the worst pain I felt in at least like a year. It was awful. I don't know where.
What did you
But I've
hit
been
it
arguing
on?
with the kids, been dealing with that, and then when the halftime show came on, I was like, I don't have time for this shit right now. So I missed it.
It was a big production, but I don't know if he has enough songs to really carry a halftime show. He doesn't have enough hits.
Yeah, he seemed
All right.
pretty weak.
He's no Prince.
That's right, Prince.
No, Prince playing
Greatest-
Purple Rain in the rain was
Prince, greatest performer of Super Bowls of all time.
Did the whole thing in the rain.
in the rain. Yeah,
Did
Uh,
the
the
Prince-
He played some Foo Fighter song. He played
yeah.
what else did he
That's
play?
right.
It did a whole montage. He played something old. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Purple Haze.
Purple Rain.
Not well. It was
Or did he do a version
no
of
all
Purple
along the
Haze?
Watchtower. Maybe it was Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took
Yeah.
some risks in what he played too. That was cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was all about him. I mean, he's immaculate performer. You know what I mean? He's going to deliver, and he certainly did that night for sure. Probably my favorite performance of all of them. I mean,
That one and the U2
Justin
after
Timberlake?
9/11.
Yeah, they're not as good as they used to be. Was my point. I
Who's
was
that?
going through all the old ones one night, and just I've had no interest in the halftime show in a long time.
Oh
And
yeah,
it used to be something I was very excited about.
The Maroon 5 was, I think,
epitome of terrible.
oh, it was awful. I was going to try to make a joke about it being great, but I couldn't even.
No,
I
you
couldn't
can't
even
muster
will
that.
myself to do it.
No.
It was just
Um,
horrible. I hate them anyway, but
Well, I mean, it's so weird who they choose to use. Like, it's like, are you guys ready for the Super Bowl? It's gonna be the halftime show is gonna be Aerosmith, and you're like, what? Aerosmith? Like, really? Like, it's like 2000. I don't know when they did it, but it was like, you got to have somebody better than that, you know? I mean, I understand some of the pop stars. I understand the Justin Timberlakes and all that. You have to do that when they're on top, sure. But it's just weird when they like pull out like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band or Kiss or something. And you're like, this just seems like you could have done something a little bit more updated, you know? So
Red Hot
sometimes I
Chili
wonder.
Peppers.
Yeah, they did it once, right?
Yeah,
he did it with other
Unplugged.
people.
Yeah. I just wonder who the committee is that makes that decisions because it's like, seems like you could do a little bit better. You know what I mean? I think one year they did that Missy Elliott, which got her popular again for another 6 months, but she had been out of doing anything for like 6 or 7 years. So it's weird. It's weird who they pick.
Michael Jackson's was good.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
see-
that was
I
like
don't
the
remember
first
much.
big one, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, it was just like he just stood there for like 7 or 8 minutes with the camera going around him. All the crowd was cheering, and he didn't move a muscle, just looking sideways. It was awesome. And then he breaks into a montage of his music. And then
I don't remember Michael Jackson to be honest
It
with
was the '90s. It was at the it was at the Rose Bowl.
you. Oh,
Whatever
okay.
Super
was that the
Bowl.
Rose? No, it was his halftime show.
No, I mean it
No,
was
that's what
the
he's
Super
saying.
Bowl in the Rose
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Word. Yeah, it was good. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know. I just the commercials were pretty limited this year because they said a lot of companies weren't doing it. Some of the companies actually gave money to the healthcare workers fund or whatever, frontline workers, which I thought was pretty cool. I can't remember who it was. Was it Planters or somebody that usually does it that gave money instead of doing the commercial because those are quite expensive to get that
Yeah.
time on air. So I thought it was pretty admirable. But nothing that really, I didn't see anything that was really great. I mean, we got another Matthew McConaughey commercial doing Doritos. That was okay.
That was
It was a little weird.
Where he's
I
one
like to eat
dimensional.
my Doritos while
Hey, Doritos.
standing in a waterfall, letting the water fall over my body. Lick the sheets off.
They're talking about him running for governor now.
Oh my God. He released some kind of self-help book and now the guy's a guru. I like
Mhm.
Matthew McConaughey. I think he's a down-to-earth guy, but I think sometimes he gets a little too much credit for being a deep thinker. I mean, he's Matthew McConaughey at the end of the day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I love him, but anyway.
His family's
But,
nuts. I know that.
I was going to ask you guys, I guess you guys heard about Screech dying, Dustin Diamond.
Oh yeah.
Poor
It's
Screech,
not.
man.
I really thought it was going to be drugs. Not to make
Yeah.
light of what did happen, but I thought it was going to be
cancer, right?
drugs. Yeah. Apparently,
And
like
fast.
I mean, how bad? I mean, I got to ask, like, how bad of a lifestyle are you living, where you have stage 4 cancer and don't even know it? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he had the money to get regular checkups, but like, where was it? Is it pancreas or?
Yeah, but I mean, unless they do a full MRI, I mean, you're gonna miss cancer.
I mean, my
checkup.
folks do it every 6 months.
A full MRI. Or
hmm They got they got the Mac Daddy healthcare package.
a friend of mine didn't got in a car wreck, and he had a back injury, and they went and did an MRI or a X-ray, and they saw a growth.
really?
Oh, wow.
Like, and he was asymptomatic otherwise.
Were they able to get him straightened out?
Yeah, he's okay now.
Yeah, you got to catch all that shit early. Scott's been dealing with COVID. Scott, how was COVID?
It wasn't that bad for me. I mean, but it sucks. But I didn't get the all the bad symptoms that you hear about.
How did you know that you had it when it started? Like what did your first tip off be?
I just had I just felt groggy and a fever, and it lasted way longer than it should have. Like I usually 4 days, and I'm usually done. So I had a doctor appointment coming up anyway, so I let him know, and he tested for it, and there it was. Yeah.
How long did it? How long
Again, my
did it hit
taste
you
and
for?
smell got messed up, but that was just for like a couple of days.
Where you literally couldn't taste anything? Is that how it was?
No, it was just different. It wasn't like that I couldn't taste, but I don't know. It's hard to describe. But yeah, it just didn't taste. The smell and taste of everything was just different.
And so there wasn't much they could do for you other than quarantine you, right?
Yeah, and I got ibuprofen, the 800 milligram. That like suppressed everything. It's just I'd wake up in the middle of the night feeling shitty again. So
How many? You got to take 800 milligrams. Can you take more than that? Will it matter? Do you know?
it's not good for your stomach, ibuprofen at all, for the lining of your stomach. So I wouldn't recommend it.
So how long were you down for?
Really 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh
Good
wow.
God. That's pretty bad though.
Yeah.
Just did your fever ever let up,
but
or was it just
that,
constant?
that was what, me just being quarantined, but it probably went on for a month.
Good God.
Mm.
Just did you feel like crap the entire time?
Yeah, it like never let up. It was pretty much a consistent
It's like having
thing.
mono.
And then yeah, I thought it was mono. I was thinking that, but I've had mono before. I know there's like 3 different types.
You've had mono several times.
Who?
I'm just
Me?
kidding. I'm just kidding. I was going to ask Wick how that compares to his tuberculosis he's got. Is that pretty similar? Or the symptoms?
The tuberculosis isn't bad. It's the leprosy that's causing issues. I lost a foot before the show.
Just fell off.
It's right over there. There's like flies around it and stuff. It's
Already?
Yeah, I'll just usually wrap that up in a Walmart plastic bag and throw it out back, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with one foot, but
just let the dog lick.
I'll manage.
No, but I'm sorry that you had that, Scott, man. I'm glad that it wasn't major.
I'm glad you're back and you're okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
for sure. Fighting back from the COVID, man. You're a survivor right now. How's that feel?
Yeah, I guess.
What do you do? What do you do when you're in quarantine for like?
They way overhyped that COVID. I was expecting more.
What did you?
I know it does affect other people. Huh?
It's so weird how the spectrum of severity of
it's a roulette, man. It is absolutely a roulette game. I mean, I know a person right now that is dealing with a family member that they don't know if they're going to pull through. Yeah. And I haven't been to Scott's actually probably, and forgive anybody that listens to this that knows me. As far as I know, Scott's probably the only person I really knew that had it. Everybody else has been like a degree of separation from me. And I've known one person that's in the hospital now that is fighting pretty hard. And then I know of someone's parent who died. So it was pretty serious, but it was a complication. I think a lot of times it's a complication of something happens as a side effect or in continuation with dealing with COVID that kind of gets you and messes you up. And so it's rarely that. Did you have any problems with your breathing, Scott?
No, it wasn't. Like I said, it was basically just like a fever. Like I had the flu.
Yeah.
It just lasted a long time.
Did you get hellacious gas?
I always have hellacious gas, so I don't know.
No change there.
Was COVID induced? Huh?
Right. No change. Right.
Could you not smell your own gas?
Yeah, it smelled different.
That's what I just
Very COVID. Well, he
It was-
doesn't know
smelled
because his
good.
sense of smell was messed up. You know, that's why it smelled different. You didn't. Your sense of smell was messed up, man.
that was the first cue. It's like, oh,
It's-
well,
I
that's
smell different.
unusual.
That,
Smell like
That's not my
almonds. Why do I
fart.
smell like almonds? Oh my god, dude!
Well, I'm
Like,
glad you're.
yeah,
I'm
for
glad
sure.
you're back on track.
Yeah. What do you do for 2 weeks when you're locked down? Did you watch movies? What'd you do?
Oh, hella Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've pretty much killed Netflix now. There's nothing left.
What
I've
was the
watched
worst?
I've
movie?
watched the worst movies, which during all this, that's pretty much all they're showing. But
What's the worst movie you saw on Netflix during your quarantine?
let's see. Seen some bad ones. There was a Homefront. That was pretty
Because
bad.
there's some that you've watched some pretty bad movies. I mean,
Yeah,
still
I'll try to watch the ones that are so bad they're good, that type, but you just don't always get those. You
well,
go
I
for
mean,
it.
so Scott's the first one that introduced me to Wolf Cop, which is a cop that turns into a werewolf. And not only did he like one, but he liked two as well. And Wolf
Yeah,
Cop's pretty
he's
much
an
what
alcoholic too.
okay.
because of the his wolfism, or
No, he just is. He drinks a lot more because of his wolfism, but he's a cop. He gets drunk and he drives around and arrests people. He'll stop off at the bar.
Oh man, I was worried that was going
Man.
to happen.
That's like
There he
his
is.
fuel. And in part two, he has to step it up. So cocaine becomes his second.
Wait a minute.
Cocaine, it's the addition on part two that they added to his fuel that makes him more like a hero.
Wolfie?
You know, gives him his energy, his powers. He's fighting the bad guy, and like he's like, oh, he's all tired. He's like, "Rrr, and they go, here's some cocaine, and he goes, "Rrr, rrr." And then he just goes and kicks the bad guy's ass, rips him to shreds.
But I gotta ask, like, okay, so where Wolf Cop's one of my favorite Scott, what would you say, Scott approved movies. So, did you see anything that gave you the feeling of Wolf Cop over the quarantine, or was there anything that really like you were like, I shouldn't like this, but I love it?
Yeah, no, I didn't run across that. There's not a lot of that on
It's hard on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix doesn't do a lot of that.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
shame.
if I subscribe to Shudder, maybe I might.
Yeah,
find
Shudder's
something
got a
like
ton of stuff like. I think Shudder does have Wolf Cop, as a matter of fact.
that. Okay.
Shudder's got a lot of good old horror films.
They've got a lot of just
A lot of the old
great
David
movies.
Cronenberg stuff, and
Oh man, love his old movie. I've seen them all.
that'd be great.
Yeah, Wolf Cop's always going to be the standard. So
It is a standard. Both of them. Kevin
I
Smith's
love-
in part two.
Kevin Smith, do you think Kevin Smith's overrated?
I think he's more of a television personality. Yeah.
I think he's a genuinely nice person.
Yeah,
And I think because he's so nice and like down to earth for a guy who's made a lot of money in movies, that a lot of people give him the benefit of a doubt in a lot of his productions. But I got to be honest with you, like a lot of his stuff doesn't stand up. Like I never thought Clerks was that good. I think Jay and Silent Bob is absolutely moronic. Mallrats doesn't
Clerks
really
2
hold
was
up.
funny.
I
what was the one
I
he
don't know.
did with George Carlin?
What?
No, that was
George Carlin was
about the
like,
Angels,
Yeah.
Angels, Michael, and God, I can't.
I don't know
remember
about
the name
that one.
of it. Yeah,
it wasn't
It's
Matt
called-
Damon and Ben Affleck in it?
yeah. It was called.
Red State's good. That's one
I
that he
never
made.
saw that.
And then Tusk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Tusk will fall into the Wolf Cop genre because this
Oh,
guy
really?
goes up north. They're podcasters, and Haley Joel Osment's in it, and Justin Long. But Justin Long goes up into Canada to find some guy for some reason. It's been so long I can't remember. But the guy basically turns him into a walrus slowly because he fell in love with a walrus when he got stranded on an island. And so, yeah, it was like a slow process. It started off with the legs. He woke up and his legs were gone. And then at the very end, you just see this it's Justin Long in a walrus suit. He's got the whiskers and the thing and the tusks coming out. And it's like flapping like this. And a tear comes down. He's crying, but he's in like a little pen. And his friends see him and they just look at him and there's nothing they can do for him. Now I made it sound sad, but it was funny.
It's based on a novel.
I really, because no, at the end, I don't know. Maybe he spun it off from a novel because at the end they play Kevin Smith's podcast, and they're just pitching the idea, going back and forth, just saying ridiculous things, and they're laughing.
So do we know why? Like, how do you turn into a walrus? Like,
it's a surgical process. You start off, you cut the legs off. Wait a
minute. What? In the movie, he's surgically turning into a walrus?
Yeah. He cuts the skin and then stitches it back together, like, so it's all just one piece.
No, it's not based on a novel. I'm thinking of
is that a board-approved surgeon who's doing this or himself?
It's this really rich guy that lives in northern Canada in the middle of nowhere.
And he's like, I'll turn you into a walrus.
He didn't really let him know that that's what he was going to do. He just told the story about him being trapped on this island for all this time with this walrus, and how much he loved the walrus.
So he's turned into a walrus.
So now he's trying to turn Justin Long into a walrus. He does. He turns him into a walrus.
Dogma was the movie we were thinking about earlier.
Dogma, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. Mm-hmm. I liked Dogma. I don't know if y'all did.
All right, so
I like that one.
I don't know.
I like Chasing Amy too.
Chasing Amy
won, and it was like up for an Academy Award Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
But even Chasing Amy, I mean, to be honest with you, Chasing Amy, although it was good at the time, is pretty outdated now because most people wouldn't act like that towards that situation. I mean, things have done such a 180 as far as socially how people view things. But I mean, like, okay, so he made Clerks. So we'll take a vote. Clerks, did you like it, Scott?
No, but I did like Clerks too.
Okay. Wick, did you like Clerks?
No.
Mallrats, Scott?
No, I didn't like Mallrats at all.
I didn't like Mallrats either.
Okay. Chasing Amy, I think I liked Chasing Amy at the time.
Yeah, it's not a repeat for me. So, but when it came out, I liked it. Carl just hyped it up too much for me. I don't know. But.
He tends to do that. Wick, Chasing Amy?
Yeah, I like that. I had a big crush on her.
Yeah. Adams, not Rachel Adams.
Joey
Lawrence. Is that right? From
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
From Blossom. Whoa. Is that who you had
a crush on me?
Dogma good. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. No thanks. I don't think I even
Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah,
all I know is she was in Dazed and Confused.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's right.
A lot of stars came out of there.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Scott.
I laughed.
Wick.
But it was.
I don't remember if I saw it.
Well, that tells you everything because you remember everything you've seen. Jersey Girl.
Didn't see it.
I don't think I saw it either.
Clerks 2, Scott liked. Wick.
Didn't see it.
Red State, Scott liked. Did you see it, Wick?
Didn't see it.
Tusk, Scott loved. This is top 5 of all time. Sounds terrible. It sounds absolutely horrible.
It is.
And he did 2 Jay and Silent Bob movies. Like, my thing is, like, how do you get funding for? I can see that you're the hot thing. I think
they cost almost nothing to make.
Yeah, if you can turn a profit, if you can make a movie and keep it and turn a profit with the budget they're willing to give you, you're gonna get to make another movie.
If they make money, you'll make another movie.
And I guess he's just got such a low bar for budget that he's going to make money no matter pretty much what he does because he's got a little bit of a name
Yeah.
name for himself.
He's got a following.
Yeah,
There
it's
are
all
people
business.
out there who love Kevin Smith for some reason. I think because it's trendy.
You know, the thing is too. Well, I think he's like a thing for the Generation X group. You know, for us,
Mm.
backwards hat and the suit and the sports coat have to go. I mean, at some point you got to quit. I mean, this guy's wearing. I saw an interview with him where he's wearing a hockey jersey that's 4 times too big for him. Like, at some
Well,
point,
yeah,
dude, you
he-
gotta
What did he
What's
go
up with that?
vegan?
He had a heart attack, didn't he?
Yeah, he
I
went.
think he-
I think
yeah,
he's
he thought
gone
he was gonna-
vegan
yeah.
now. He just looks sick.
Well, it's sick, but he has like, how do you have that much money? Like, he's got to be worth what? Let's see. Kevin Smith's net worth is right around 25 million. You can't buy new clothes, dude. Like, he's still wearing the shit he was wearing when he was overweight. Because I saw something with him, and I'm like, dude, that suit jacket is like what you used to wear. And you're
Yeah.
way smaller now, and you're still fitting. You're still wearing that around. Like, you're worth 25 million. Take 5,000 and go to, you know, Old Navy and buy you some shit, man. Like, you
I
know
don't
what I
think
mean?
he's
You could buy the store
maturing.
with that.
Well,
What's
he's got an image mostly now that he sells, and he knows that.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Hey,
a
Scott, did you
personality.
hear
He's an
that-
image. Huh?
Have you heard about Ridley Scott's next movie?
I think you told me about it, and I can't remember
Napoleon?
what it was. Huh?
Napoleon
Oh, yes. You told me about that. That sounds
with
like it's gonna be
Joaquin.
awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I hope it's good. My feeling is it's going to be bad in the theater. Then there's going to be a director's cut, and it's going to be awesome. Sounds like one of those Ridley movies because him and Zack Snyder are the two where you need to wait for their cuts to come out, and it totally changes the movie. How you feel about the movie?
Yeah, I heard Doctor Sleep was horrible, and then I watched it on I think it was HBO, and I thought it was pretty damn good. But it turns out I was watching the director's cut.
Oh, there's a director's cut on that.
Yeah, it's supposedly way better than the original cut.
I'm gonna have
happens
to
with
look
that?
that up when I get off here, huh?
What happens? Do they just try to fit it into a time format? And
The
then
producers seem to think they know more than the director. The director sets out with a vision and he films it this way. And where the producers are trying to stick to a formula that makes them money.
That they think,
what the majority of the people want. And the majority of the people probably do want that. But people who really appreciate film, like myself and like Wick, and
I do
maybe you.
not.
Okay.
No, I do not.
He likes boobs and
we
explosions.
want something that goes against
right.
the grain, something that breaks the formula, and that's usually what we get with a director's cut.
So wait for that.
But it's already been shot the way the director wanted to see it, so they don't really have a lot to work with. So you end up getting something that gets bad reviews.
Yeah, they have a formula that they're trying to mold a film into, and it doesn't necessarily lend itself to how this film was written and shot.
Watchmen was a good, like I hated the theater version, and then I watched the director's cut and loved it.
Way better.
Way better.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about the first, the theater version.
Yeah, very few directors
It's like 3.5
get
hours
final
long.
cut. Very
Director's
few
cut.
get final cut.
Director's cut's about 3.5 hours long, and it's
Really?
yeah, it's I thought it was great. It got more into the human story, the human connection that these heroes have with each other. There's controversy, which is also in the film version, kind of, but they dig more into that.
Is it
And
kind of like? Is it kind of like The Boys on Prime? Did y'all watch The Boys on Prime?
No, the Boys on Prime that's just fun. To me, I like it, but that's just like people out there. They took an idea and they're having a great time with it.
Yeah, I kind of like
Eh.
The Boys. It's weird at times, but
It's weird, but I like it. Very
Wait, did you
violent.
watch the
That
boys
opening
on
scene
Prime?
just caught me right away with the guy's girlfriend when she's standing in the street.
Oh, when she gets run over?
That was because they were having like this really nice conversation, then all of a sudden she explodes, and and I'm like, what in the fuck? I go, that's
And you were
intense. That could really happen. Like if well, it could not really happen, but like if there were superheroes and a Flash type hero, I'm surprised the Flash doesn't do that more. I mean, he's zooming through the city. People are walking around everywhere.
he just runs through people.
He can
Did you-
vibe his way through people, I guess. So yeah.
I think when I've watched a little bit of the Flash TV show to see if I would like it, and I believe that when Flash is running at full speed, everything for him slows down.
Oh, that's true. Watching the
Everything for
show,
everybody else speeds up. Yeah.
It's like a
the
great running
WB
back.
show was the WB show was kind of a guilty pleasure of mine for about 4 seasons. Then I lost interest.
The WB.
Yeah, I liked the boys. I liked the boys. Did you watch it?
I
Wick?
bet you do.
I
No,
liked
I
it.
didn't watch The Boys.
Oh, you haven't seen it, Wick?
No, I haven't.
You might like it. I don't know. You're so anti superhero. It's hard to know.
Yeah, there's only like
They
3 good
changed they changed the whole.
There's
whole theme.
there's the first Superman for me. There's the Dark Knight and the first Iron Man.
Okay,
Both.
my favorite, the first Superman, is my number
Yeah.
one favorite comic book movie because I went back and watched it and it held up for me. That
Yeah.
was great. Spider-Man 2 was probably the
Superman 2
second
is
best.
great.
Was
It's
the
great.
best, the second best superhero movie. That whole scene with the subway. I guess it was on it was the L train. I guess it was on an elevated track, but that was just brilliant. That whole scene.
Was that the one with Dr. Octopus?
Yeah, Doc Ock.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But I think it got shit on pretty bad, didn't it? Like
Mm-mm.
review wise.
The third one did.
Third one did.
Third one. That's right.
No,
That's
that
the
got
one that had
reviews.
Venom and whatever.
They said he didn't want to put Venom in it, but they made him put Venom in it.
Oh, well,
He just
They
wanted to
want-
focus on the Sandman, which I mean, to me, it's obvious. Like everything that involved the Sandman was great,
yeah.
and then everything that involved Topher Grace and the Venom was horrible.
Yeah. That was Sam Raimi for all 3 of those.
Yes, and he's actually directing Doctor Strange, the second one, the Doctor
Is he
Strange
really?
Doctor Strange in the multiverse, and it's going to be a horror movie.
Really?
And yeah,
That's kind of cool.
and it's going to be dark.
That is
and
cool.
And that's when they're going to open up all these different types of heroes that are coming in. So you'll get, Miles Morales and Peter Parker, 2 different Spider-Mans. It's just going to open up the door for a lot more to happen. Because I don't know if y'all watched. Did y'all watch the Endgame, the Avengers, the last 2 Avengers?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, I
did.
didn't.
Okay.
'Cause
Wick
I-
did not.
I could not stand Professor Hulk. I want
Mark Rubio?
stupid big raging mad Hulk.
You mean the
Mark
guy who can
Rubio.
actually have a conversation, Hulk?
Yeah, not the one where he's smart. He's a little bit smaller, and he's trying to be a comedian.
Wolf Cop on cocaine, Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I want. I just want him to be out of control, and you don't know what he's gonna do. He may accidentally fly a jet to another planet because he doesn't know, which is what he did at the end of Age of Ultron. Which is,
Wait,
he didn't know how to cut it off. He's like, and he's going up in space.
I want to let a
That's why he
superhero.
ends up in Thor Ragnarok.
I
told you need to watch Thor Ragnarok Wick, because it's nothing but a good time from beginning to end. There's like no bad scene in that movie,
Is it kind of like
and
Guardians
it's
of the
fun.
Galaxy?
It's funny, huh?
is
Kinda
it
like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
The
kinda
comedy.
like Guardians of the Galaxy, except I think it's a little better. And the guy from I forget his name. He has a weird name. but he was on Flight of the Conchords. Maybe he was a director or writer for the show. I don't know if he was actually on it. He did 2 episodes of The Mandalorian in the first season.
Yeah, it's so the guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, he did the movie.
Yeah.
And then what else did he do? Oh, he
Hey,
did
hold on,
the Muppet movie with Jason Segel.
Oh,
have you guys watched the What We Do in the Shadows TV show?
I watched the first season.
Is it funny?
It's really funny, dude.
Yeah,
This movie was hilarious.
It's different
The
actors,
movie's
but
great.
it's different actors, but it's just as good.
Did you watch
Yeah,
Flight of the
And
Conchords?
it's basically old school vampires trying to fit in with regular society. And
Right.
that's always fun. Fish out of water kind of thing.
While
Yeah.
trying to feed and go to bars and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they wake up the one old guy that's like he hasn't been around in like hundreds of years. And they're like trying to like make him a little bit less conspicuous the whole time.
You haven't seen it, Wick?
I've seen the movie, not the show.
Do you have Hulu?
Yeah,
It's on Hulu. It is really funny, dude. Like
I have to watch that.
You have
it
the
took a
stick
couple
still?
episodes to really get going,
Mhm.
but once it got going, it was really on a roll. And it finally kind of catches the same humor as the movie. Like to me, when it first started, I was like, I don't know, I kind of laughed and chuckled, but as it got going, like the second half of the first season, it to me, it blended in with kind of the humor of the movie, and it got really funny. Kind of once, like Scott said, they have this like grand old vampire that lives in the attic that they awaken, and pretty much from that moment on, it's really funny.
They're all afraid of him.
Yeah, they're all afraid of him and stuff, but they try to take him out to the bars because he wants to go out, and they try to dress him up, but he still looks like this horrible vampire. But yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is actually really, really funny, Wick, if you get a chance to watch it on Hulu. It's really good.
And WandaVision's good. That's one I've just started watching.
It just seems corny to me.
But it's not. That's the thing. It's like I thought it was just going to be these two inserted into a 50s show, but it's shot brilliantly, and it's more than that. It's a slow build, and we're building towards there's something else going on. Because they move into a 70s Brady Bunch type show in the 3rd episode, and then the 4th totally focuses on just something else, whatever else is going on. It didn't really explain a lot, but like I said, it's a slow burn, 30-minute television show. So it's hard for a lot of people to swallow when you're doing like a sitcom type show and you're doing it in this fashion.
Disney's doing some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
doing-
this is
they're
actually,
Disney
this will
Plus.
likely, I think it's going to lead to a movie.
Because this Mandalorian thing really took off.
Oh, Mandalorian's so good. I love that.
I hear it's
Yeah,
the best Star Wars iteration since.
It is.
The original
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Favreau screwed Abrams, man. They should have hired Favreau.
For the movies,
Favreau, everything
Yeah.
I think Favreau touches is good.
He just keeps getting better. He's been doing it for so long. And he's also about our age, so he's a fan of the shows, and he knew what to focus on. And
What do you think it is about Favreau, Wick? I mean, it just seems like everything the guy touches is good.
yeah. It comes from writing, which is always
yeah, because that's what he was first.
yeah. And when you start off as a writer, it's you have a natural instinct for storytelling. That a lot of times directors have a visual instinct.
Did y'all see the Jungle Book that he did? Huh?
No, I didn't. Is it
He
good?
directed the
Yeah.
live action Jungle Book that's mixed with CGI.
Yeah, it is good.
Bill Murray does Baloo, but it's great.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
Iron
very
Man
good.
was fantastic.
Yeah,
What's that?
Iron Man was very good. Iron Man.
But this is like you need to see it because this is where I say CGI actually graduated to where it perfectly integrates with real life people. Like you just can't tell the difference anymore. I mean, you can, it's CGI, but it's just really good. That and the first Star Wars. I know the animated characters maybe
The
even
very first Star Wars,
no, well, no, 8 or 7
8.
or what? Yeah, 8.
Whatever number it is.
The Force Awakens. There was that character in the tavern that Han Solo was talking to, and it was like it was actually there.
Yeah, CGI has really graduated a lot. There's a period where it was just horrible.
You know what pisses me off is that Universal dropped the ball on the horror, the creature universe they were planning.
What were
I
they?
was-
Oh, you
planning?
talking about with the Mummy?
Yeah, they were going to do everything.
I like
They were
that
gonna-
movie.
They were going to do Frankenstein, Dracula, the whole
Really?
thing. Yeah, and it just bombed.
Well, they
So-
they bombed with the Mummy, and mostly it's people. It's like Brendan Fraser fans that are like they're rabid fans of this series, which I didn't think any of those were that good. The CGI is horrible in all of them.
Yeah.
What did y'all think
I like
of-
Brendan Fraser. He was great in the role. But I thought the Mummy was good. I thought the Mummy that Tom Cruise did was good. I liked
Yeah,
it.
okay. That's what I was going to ask. The
Yeah.
Tom Cruise one. Yeah. Was that supposed to be the kickoff for that?
Yeah, which was probably a mistake. They should have probably gone with something like Frankenstein or Dracula
Yeah, Wolfman.
to Wolfman, something to really, I mean, one of the larger figures from that universe.
Yeah, because the Mummy's pretty low on that totem pole of Universal monsters, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're probably going Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein,
Creature from Blue Lagoon.
right? And then, Wolfman.
Black Lagoon.
That's a
dude.
great movie, the original.
Yeah, and then you got
the
the
Blue
Mummy's
Lagoon
pretty-
had a naked Brooke Shields in it. The Black Lagoon.
The Black Lagoon, rather, not the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, the Blue Lagoon.
Creature from the Blue Lagoon. They should
Yeah,
match
it
those
had a
up, though.
couple of 14-year-olds hooking up naked on the beach.
That's,
Yeah,
that's the
which,
Blue Lagoon. There was no
Lagoon.
monster in the Blue Lagoon, was there?
No, there's lots of sex, and they thought there was a monster on the island. It wasn't a monster. It was, I forgot what it was.
Just teenage
Maybe
hormones.
they were stuck
Yeah.
on the island. There was something deep in the woods. I
The
think
monster-
it was a tribe.
the monster was herpes.
There you go. It was COVID before COVID.
Hmm.
That's where COVID escaped from.
But I mean, that's definitely my wheelhouse. Those Universal monsters.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah, it would be kind of
nuts.
cool if
They
if
should still
did
try
do
it.
that. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's worth a shot,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty iconic. You know what I mean?
especially with
For
streaming
years.
services now.
yeah,
Yeah, I have gotten rid of. In fact, I've got the cable company after me because I've decided I'm ditching. I ditched all my cable stuff. Said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I got rid of all my cable stuff. I got internet because see, they had me packaged with the cable, that prison cell of cable and Wi-Fi. So if you want to get
Yeah.
rid of it, you've got to get rid of everything because there's no way you can get rid of the cable and keep the Wi-Fi and all this other stuff. So
So did you have to go to someone else for the Wi-Fi?
yes, I did. I went to someone else for the Wi-Fi.
And is it
And
just as
then-
good?
Yeah, I think it's a little better, really. And then because I was with the cable company for a while, so I'm sure
Mm.
a lot of stuff was outdated. So I got new internet, and then I did that whole thing we all do, which is I just never told them that we were divorcing. I just was like, they'll figure it out when I don't pay. Because it's always an awkward conversation at cancellation. I know some people have no problem doing it, but I have this weird thing about delivering bad news where I procrastinate horribly when it comes to bad news. Like, even when it's not my fault, I just don't want to call someone and say, I don't want to have your services anymore, even though it's completely legitimate because what I was paying was insane because it wasn't that great of a package. But it was one of those where it was really good at first until like after a year. And then it was like, what are we doing? And then we continued to do it for like 4 years. And finally it's like, you know what, with all the streaming stuff and with YouTube TV and with Hulu TV, there's no reason to keep the cable because it was like almost $300. And I'm like, this is insane.
And the news is a waste of time, so you don't need that.
Yeah.
but, you're,
and so I was
but
like,
you're happy with your new package.
I am. What I did is, what I did
Dick joke.
was I
Joke.
said,
Hashtag dick joke.
I'm gonna let them have all this. I'm just gonna not pay them anymore, which I think 90% of the population does. I'm like, I'm just not gonna pay them anymore. I'll figure it out later. before we go to creditors, because I usually try to keep good credit. So I'm like, I'll figure it out before we get to that point. I'm going to avoid them for now because I just don't want to deal with it. So anyway, I boxed up all the equipment. I'm waiting for that service guy to show up and be like, yeah, I've got all your stuff. Here it is. But I went straight to streaming, and I've really enjoyed it, man, because I feel like because Wick, that's what you do, right? You're all streaming?
All streaming, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get the games and stuff streaming on Hulu, right? Is it Hulu?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I watched the Super Bowl tonight on Hulu, Hulu TV.
That's all I need. Like that's the only reason to hang on to cable to me, which I had heard a while back that Hulu was doing. You could do that through Hulu.
Yep, sports.
But sports was the only thing like keeping me tethered to the cable companies. Other than that, I don't really need it.
It was pretty much
which now I don't.
Pretty much it for me. That was I was really worried. I'm a big college football fan, as you guys know, but I was like, I'm a little nervous about college football regional stuff, like being able to pick up some of these just like games, like I'm a Georgia guy, like Georgia versus Louisiana Monroe. I want to be able to watch it, but it's not going to be on a major network unless it's local. But Hulu says that their local channels are whatever the local broadcast is. So hopefully that won't change, but I don't know how college football will work into the streaming thing. But I do know, plus you can get ESPN Plus for like $5. So so I was like, you know what, I'm ditching it all. I ditched cable. I need to have a conversation with them that I'm dreading, but because I'm sure I'll get threats from how much I owe and all this other stuff. But anyway, but I've really enjoyed the streaming part of it, because I find that my problem is I go to the guide when I had cable, and I'm looking through the guide, and I'm just not finding anything to watch. Like I'm just flipping through. I'm like, man, this is mindless. Like I don't even know what I want to do here. And when I went to streaming, I still have that problem, but I always feel like I can find something to watch because I can specialize in what my mood is. So if I want to watch like a crime mystery or cold case thing, I can go to Discovery ID. Or if I want to watch a movie, I can see what Hulu has. I can see what Netflix has, or Prime, or whoever, and kind of narrow down what I want to watch. Whereas I feel like with cable TV, it felt a little mindless. Like I was just aimlessly shooting at the wall, like what I would want to watch. You know what I mean?
Because you end up settling for something,
right? Because I'm only watching what's offered on the guide. You know what I mean? And if it's 10:15 and I've missed 15 minutes of movie, I'm like, screw it. Like I don't really want to catch it 15 minutes in or whatever. And with streaming, I can watch it anytime I want. So it's been a pleasant experience so far. And I just need, with Roku, all you need is the Wi-Fi. So I think it's been very good so far. And Wick, I know, was doing it for a while, and it, kind of talked to him about it, and he didn't seem to have many issues with it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to just take the plunge and do it. But the cable company's after me now. So we'll see how that battle ends up. But
just talk to them. Tell them you don't want to do it anymore.
I'm sure they'll bill me for $1,000 easy. But it's just, they'll keep billing me despite the fact that I wouldn't have had service or something, or, if you don't return that equipment, even though it's probably 10 years old, they'll be like, it's still $800 worth of equipment or whatever. So I'll have to figure out what to do about it. But I've enjoyed the streaming part of it. I really have. It's been good.
Yeah, it's good. It's better.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you have TV on demand. I think this is only going to get bigger and bigger. And you kind of see it with a lot of stations wanting to do, like I saw the other day, like we were talking about Shudder. Shudder's now part of a bigger package with what they call AMC Plus. So you get AMC, Shudder, and a bunch of other stuff included. So if you're paying, $6 for Shudder, which I was, I can cancel Shudder and then do the AMC package for the same price and get like more stuff.
What does AMC have though?
A ton of zombie shows.
Yeah.
I'm just done with zombies, man.
Yeah,
unbelievable. This Walking Dead thing. I mean, we all come from the area where this was filmed, and it was a big deal, right? I mean, we can all say that Wick, maybe not. I don't know if we've really talked about it. I know Scott was kind of into it when it first started. I watched
the first three seasons.
Oh, it was good in the beginning, but it just wore out.
They dragged it. Didn't it feel like they really
Well,
dragged it?
I
on?
think they spent a season building up a character, building up a situation. So when the next season the shit hits the fan, this guy dies, it's more impactful to you because you know more about him and their relationships. They did a lot of character building in that show, which a lot of people were complaining about. They're bored. They just wanted to see zombies attacking people and them killing zombies. And I kept telling people, I said, if they did that, you wouldn't like it and you wouldn't watch it because
Well, I think
it
it
would
would be
not
over-
have the same appeal.
Yeah, but I mean, I think too. I think so. I don't even know what season they're going into. Maybe like 7 or 8, maybe. But
It's
something
done.
tells
9
me-
seasons, and it's done. And now they're doing a
But it's
with
but
the girl and Norman Reedus.
but they're
are
only
doing
doing 9 seasons. Let's be honest. They're only
Yeah.
doing 9 seasons because everybody pretty much said, "Screw this. It's getting old." You know what I mean?
ratings
Like,
are way down.
yeah, ratings are way down. I think if ratings were still the same, they would be dragging ass on that show still. And I think that they could have, if they would have, I think the most admirable thing good TV shows can do is say, we're going for 5 seasons. The writers know, or they get renewed 3 times and they go, you know what? Let's not press our luck. Let's just go for 5 seasons and let's have an ending. I find
Battlestar
that
Galactica did that.
I find that extremely admirable, because what I think Walking Dead's mistake was that it was really AMC's cash cow. I mean, they had Breaking Bad, but Breaking Bad you can't market the way you could Walking Dead. I mean, Walking Dead had action figures and had, games and had all this stuff that was attached to it. Spin-off series, everything else, right? And so it was a cash cow for AMC. I mean, I'm sure they'd never seen anything like that before. And I think that they were just like, we can't let this go. We have to keep going and keep going and keep going. And I think as it kept going and dragging, I mean, how long can you be in one spot for so many seasons and just
Yeah.
do character development before you're like, all right, they got to move. And it seemed like it got to the point where like the first few seasons were very good, in my opinion. And then they got to the point where they're like, hold on, let's have something really great happening at the beginning of the season, and let's do character development, boring shit throughout the next 8 episodes. And then the 9th and 10th episode, let's kick it up a notch. And they did that. And I just think that people got tired of it. You know what I mean? I think they felt like they're wasting their time to be played.
Who was the guy that was attached to it? Who brought it to TV? The director.
Scott something. What
No, it's the guy that directed Shawshank Redemption.
Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont brought it, and he directed several of the first season episodes, and he wanted it to be in black and white. And you can actually get season 1 in black and white, or it's on the DVD, which I thought it made it better. Huh?
He probably wanted to do that as a tribute to Night of the Living Dead, I would imagine.
Yeah. He also The Mist was originally supposed to be in black and white. He said, they asked him to direct it. He wrote it. He said, I'll direct it if you let me keep the ending. So they said, fine. But they didn't let him keep it in black and white. They colored it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That Walking Dead thing was kind of dumb how they ended up doing it. And I just think they stretched out. I think it would be done by now. It probably would have had a really great ending had it been kind of sped up. Because I don't know how many comic books or graphic novels they took from. I can't imagine that they had like 6 years worth of shit that they had to like fit in. I imagine that they had probably 4 seasons of shit that they stretched out. You know what I mean? And I think when you do that, people just tune out. They get tired of it. It becomes old to them, and they just get ready to move on. And and I think that they just kept trying to run with that. I think it was just such a mistake, because now they're saying, oh, well, we're going to end it now. Well, I guess you are, and I guarantee you the last season or whatever they're going to do will be very good, because they're going to say, okay, all this shit we've been dragging out, we now have to do, and we have to come to a conclusion. So we're going to just knock it out. And it'll probably be amazing, because the attitude and approach they should have taken to it the last season was what they should have done for every season.
Well, you never know.
Tell the story.
Great series tend to bomb in the endings lately anyway.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, it's.
That was
I
awful.
imagine it's pretty hard to live up to people's expectations when it's a truly great show with a huge fan base.
Yeah, even Breaking Bad was a little.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like with
The
games,
episodes
well,
leading up to the ending were better.
Dexter too.
Oh, they're bringing
Nope.
Dexter back.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're bringing Dexter back, but yeah, Dexter. That last couple of episodes were so bad. I mean, you just tell when things are rushed. Like they've just decided, okay, let's end it. And Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, to me, I was a late bloomer with Game of Thrones. I didn't really start watching it till it was streamable. And when I got HBO, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stream this. Everybody's talking about it. And I thought I was so freaking confused. Like, it was one of those shows, like, to me, I don't have the attention span that a lot of people do, as Wick knows. But it was like, all right, it's interesting enough, but there's so many different people involved that I don't know who's connected to who anymore. But I did enjoy it. And I thought it was really well put together. And then that last season, everything felt so rushed that it was like, this is really like, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same feeling it's had. And then I heard that the guy who writes them was supposed to write this final and like didn't do it or something, or they had to turn it over to somebody else to finish it. Like it was a completely different group of people that wrote it because
on Game of Thrones.
yeah, they were waiting for him.
No, they wrote it, but they got hired for Star Wars in the middle of it.
So they left.
They just didn't have. I think they were just unfocused.
So they screwed that up instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then they got dropped from Star Wars. I think it was Han Solo. They got dropped from it because
Solo.
Yeah, didn't Ron Howard finish it?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
Yeah, he did. As a matter of fact,
Yeah,
that's
hated
right.
it.
You hate it,
yeah.
Han
How do you
Solo?
screw up Han Solo?
Well,
I thought Han Solo was good.
first off with the casting,
Who would you have casted as Han Solo?
Harrison
I don't
Ford.
know. Yeah,
A younger Harrison Ford.
Yeah, they can do
CGI.
it. Yeah, if
Oh,
they
you're
can do it
right.
for the Irishman.
Give me just a second, guys.
Go ahead, man. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. I mean, they did that. And do you watch The Mandalorian?
No, I'm going to though.
They did that. Well, I won't ruin it because I was about to say something I was going to completely shit on it, but I shouldn't do that. Anyway,
Okay.
yes, watch it. But yeah, they probably could have done some. Yeah, I don't want to do that to you. Yeah, they probably could have done some CGI and done a young Harrison Ford, but people then would have said, well, why not just get a young actor to do it? I thought it was fine.
I think there were probably better options, but like look at Star Trek when Abrams brought that back. He cast that that's a lot of characters he had to cast for, and every one of them were perfect.
Yeah,
I agree. I was thinking about the other day.
That's probably the best sci-fi that I've seen done in a long time.
Yeah. I think the redone Star Trek movies are really good. I really enjoyed them.
I like the first two.
Yeah, I liked Christopher Pine as what's his
Oh,
face.
he's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Did you see those, Wick? The Star Trek reboots,
yes. Well, I saw the first two.
and then they just kind of dropped it. I don't know what's going on with that. I guess it doesn't make money. I don't know.
No, it made money. Abrams just left for Star Wars. He's a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I mean
That was
I
a
don't
dream
know.
come true for him, but I personally think he needs to ditch Star Wars and go back to Star Trek.
Star
Which
Trek
they're making another one. Quentin Tarantino wrote it.
for Star Trek.
He was gonna. It's his idea. He pitched it. They loved it. He wants to do it rated R. He wants to direct. They said that they wanted him to direct it. He said he'll do it if it's rated R. I think they said yes at first, but now he's off of directing it. I haven't. I've tried to look it up, and I've seen.
He
I've
can't
seen
make
both.
that his final film.
No,
Yeah.
he's not. They don't think he's going to stick to his 10 film plan. They think he's going to keep making movies because he's
I
definitely
don't
doing
think
another
he'll
Kill Bill.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I mean, Steven Soderbergh did the same thing and said he was going to retire, and then didn't.
Can guys
he'll
like
keep
that
making-
retire? Really?
No,
mean,
he's
That's
too
like
bad.
saying
He
you
makes,
retire from music. You know?
especially like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was just such a great film,
I love that
You know-
movie.
and it's right. You're right at the end of his quota that he set for himself. He's got a lot more in the tank. Especially
I think
after
that's
that.
one of his Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Inglorious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Excuse
Jackie
me,
Brown
sir.
should have won the Best Picture when I think that was
Jackie
the year
Brown is-
Titanic won.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
Jack-
sir. Excuse me, sirs. Dust Till Dawn is my favorite Tarantino movie.
Well,
It is.
He wrote.
It's not a Tarantino.
I think
Swear to
he
God.
wrote the script, but it's Robert Rodriguez directed it, and he
Yeah,
wrote
but
the
I mean-
story. It's his
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
but obviously you see Tarantino's influence in it, like with the dialogue.
Did y'all know originally True Romance is the script Clarence is writing? No, excuse me. Natural Born Killers is the script Clarence is writing while he goes across the country in True Romance.
Really?
In what?
Yeah, in True Romance.
Oh, he's working on a script and he's writing Natural Born
He's
Killers.
writing Natural Born Killers.
Oh, okay. And Tarantino wrote both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Did
And he
write
just
Natural
separated
Born
them.
Killers?
See, that's the thing. He just
Yeah.
has to
I
write.
didn't know that.
Give him a decent director. Follow his script. I mean, you can watch both those movies and totally tie Tarantino to it
Yeah.
just by
it's
watching it.
It's an impossible voice to suppress.
Mhm.
I knew Tarantino was involved from Dusk Till Dawn when the dude had a penis gun. That's when I knew. Do you remember? Like he had it on his
Yeah.
belt buckle and it popped
Yeah.
up. Yeah, that's when I knew it was a Tarantino.
Sex Machine.
Yeah, Sex Machine. That's right. That's right.
I
Come
actually
on,
like the
Sex
first half.
Machine.
I like
Huh?
the first half of that movie better than the second half.
It did get pretty bad, didn't it?
I thought
Well, the first half was just it drew you in. It was awesome.
Mhm.
I would love to have just seen a Gecko Brothers movie,
Yeah.
but I
Mhm.
thought it was kind of cool how it just flipped the script to just a completely cheesy ass horror movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the first script he ever
It'll
sold.
always be remembered because of that.
the penis.
But
gun.
yeah, the Gecko Brothers, I would love to. There was a talk about doing a Gecko Brothers movie, but I think it's probably too late now. What's his name? George Clooney. He's starting to deteriorate.
He's supposedly doing Buck Rogers, isn't he, Wick?
Yeah,
God,
that's the word.
Yeah, the word is he's going
is
to
that
be
a
doing
show
Buck
or a
Rogers.
movie?
Show.
Show.
I wonder if they're gonna have Twinkie in it.
They got to have Twinkie, man.
You can't have not have
Bring
him.
back Aaron Gray, man. Bring back Aaron Gray and CGI her. I'll be happy
Oh
with it.
God, that's the hot
Uh,
chick that was in it.
Oh my god.
I remember
Oh,
this
yeah.
scene. I remember with this scene when I was a kid, and there's a bunch of dwarves around her holding hands, and they were saying off things, and like her clothes started coming off. And I was like, oh yeah. I
Oh
started
God,
cha-
please.
I started
God,
chanting
please.
it too. Off things. Off, yes, more off things. But
Aaron
then like
Gray
somebody
was-
walked in, Buck or somebody, and they were like, what are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah, Aaron Gray was like my first crush. Me and Wake have had this conversation. She's my
Silver
first-
spoons.
Yeah, she was the stepmom, right? She was dating a dad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She was gorgeous, man, and she'd wear those tight like shiny outfits in Buck Rogers, like the
Her
pink
name
and
was
blue
Kate
and purple
in
ones.
Silver Spoons.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't know
Aaron
why I
Gray,
remember. I remember that because there's a scene where like it's for her birthday or something, and he has these people come in, they hold up a sign, and they got it backwards, and it says "take" instead of Kate, and he's like, "What do you think?" And she goes, "Take," and then he goes, "Yeah, I'll switch it." I mean, it's stupid sitcom humor, but it was funny.
I mean,
I don't know.
Ricky Schroeder, man, carried that thing. Loved me some
Yeah.
Silver Spoons growing up.
Alfonso, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
He
Ricky
wasn't
Schroeder
as
didn't have
funny
a
as he
career.
was. He wasn't funny like he was in the Fresh Prince. He does better the nerdy guy,
Yeah,
not the guy with Michael Jackson
And
Thriller
Jason
jacket.
Bateman.
that's right.
Jason
Jason
Bateman
Bateman
was
was in
in
it too. Yeah, Jason Bateman playing Jason Bateman is the best Jason Bateman.
The best straight man in Hollywood, man.
Yeah, best guy playing Jason Bateman's Jason Bateman, the everyday guy.
I really
you
like
take
Ozark.
you take him out of Arrested Development, and the show doesn't work.
You know what? Arrested Development doesn't work without Jason Bateman. I agree 100% with you. Arrested Development is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of the pre-Netflix Arrested Development. When it got onto Netflix, it got stupid to me. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, what's his name? The comedian that's on there. Well, he was a little bit over the top.
Dave Cross.
David Cross.
Yeah, David Cross.
I loved him. I always loved him in that show.
Oh my God! As Tobias, he's amazing.
Tobias Funk.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I wrote a
he
spec
was
script.
he was trying to be Jason Bateman, like the new Jason Bateman for The Family or whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't he like spend like the whole series with it like a wig?
I don't remember. If it was the Netflix version, I didn't watch the Netflix version at all. I watched a couple episodes and didn't feel the same.
I wrote a spec script of Arrested Development. It would have been the first episode of the second season.
Yeah.
After they go to Mexico in the stair car.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a funny show, man. God, it was so good. So underrated. I think people had to save it a couple of times from being canceled. Right?
Yeah, it never did well.
It's hilarious, man. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever watched because of the humor. The humor was so clever. You know what I mean?
The only reboot that's worked for me is the Mr. Show reboot. It was funny as hell.
Oh yeah, they only did one season though, right?
Yeah, they just did it once.
That's Bob. What's his name?
Bob Odenkirk and Dave Cross.
Who's brilliant too.
Yeah. Well, my favorite skit in that one was when he's like trying to do like a YouTube video of like exercising his rights to the cop.
Yeah.
And the cop is like, "You can go." he keeps coming back around the block.
It's like, did you know Bob Odenkirk wrote the motivational speaker character for
Chris Farley? Yes,
but he wrote it before they even went to SNL when they were at Second City in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why it took him so long to get it on air and on SNL.
We watched. I've got the Peacock channel, as I said. I'm streaming now, and they actually finally have all the Saturday Night Lives because they used to not. Like it used to be the last like 10 years, and they like it was weird. Like you either got the last 10 years, or you got like the first like 3 years.
Best era.
And everything in between. The 80s and 90s were or the 90s and pretty much the 90s was complete, and late 80s was cut out. And it was like this mystery of like why NBC would not release those seasons. And the rumor was always that was his face that runs it.
Lorne
Michaels didn't like those seasons, but they finally released.
They were gold.
They were amazing, and so my wife and I decided we were going to sit down and watch a couple of them. And Will Ferrell's pretty funny. He's got some funny skits or whatever. But it's kind of you see some weakness there, but you immediately realize Chris Farley is above everyone when you see
cast.
That
was my favorite era.
Really good. It was, but
no, that was Adam Sandler, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Farley.
Yes, it's a great cast.
And Norm came in on the end of that.
Oh, and Norm was the best Weekend Update.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because he was always talking about Hillary Clinton
and OJ
killing someone, huh?
And OJ.
He was cracking on OJ too.
Yeah,
that's what got him fired.
It's just
I totally believe that. Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Don Ohlmeyer was friends with OJ, and that's why they fired him.
Oh, really?
Oh, and then he came back to the next year after he was fired to host and made that whole opening monologue joke. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Because so either I've gotten funnier or the show sucks now. And he's like smiling the whole time.
I when we went back and watched it, and when Chris Farley began, because we were kind of going really far back, like late 80s, Caveman Lawyer and all that stuff.
Oh, so good.
It was so good. Phil Hartman was
I'm
great.
a caveman.
Phil Hartman was so
I don't understand how your new technology works.
He was so suave and sophisticated about it.
Yeah,
I'm
got
just
that
a
huge forehead.
caveman. I don't understand these things.
Yeah, and then he'll spit off like a law back in 1982.
Yeah.
1862 or something. to get his client off. But no,
He's-
I mean, you're watching.
He did
you're
a
watching, it's
funny
funny.
Matlock too.
It's funny and you're laughing, and then there's this moment when Farley enters as a cast member,
Whole
and
different.
everything increases tenfold. Like that's not to take away because it was already very, very good, but you really don't realize how much of effect Chris Farley had on that show until you're kind of watching things, you're watching things, and then all suddenly he pops, and then you just realize in any scene he's in, it's 10 times funnier.
Way
Like,
funnier.
it is like they had this one where he was the son of a governor who had just gotten elected. And he was doing his press conference, and Chris Farley's the kid that's like standing around the podium and like climbing on the podium and stuff, like as his dad's making his acceptance speech.
Oh, I remember that.
And it is, we were crying, and I'm like, it's just like he doesn't do anything necessarily different. He just is naturally funnier. Like even stupid stuff. We were watching the one where Adam
And they
Sandler-
all say it. They all say he was the funniest.
I mean, you once you go back and look at, and you know, like I said, it's on Peacock now, which Peacock channel is phenomenal. I mean, they are freaking worth every penny. I swear.
Really? Over HBO Max?
Yes, absolutely.
HBO
Yeah,
Max
they
seems
just-
like
they're going out, they're
the streaming
buying-
channel to have.
They're just
It's
buying
good.
rights to everything.
It's good.
They're taking every.
Peacock is?
No,
Yeah, Peacock.
HBO Max.
Oh, HBO Max is great.
Mhm.
Peacock is very, very good. I would put Peacock up there with the best. I would put
I
Peacock
can't
over
wait to see this
by far.
Justice League director's cut.
on HBO Max.
Because it's completely it's on right now. I'm watching the original one, which is horrible. But like it's a completely different tone. It's a Zack Snyder tone, kind of like Watchmen. So it's more
Yeah.
intense, serious, whereas this has more of a comedic flip to it.
yeah, I just going back and watching this. I mean,
And it's rated R. It's gonna be rated R. Huh?
Farley just takes it to another level. I mean, it's so weird.
Going
Like they
back-
had
There
this
is-
one skit where it was Adam
he's-
Sandler, and it was I can't remember. It was like where he's trying to run like a senior citizen senior citizen like a babysitting business, and it's Adam Sandler, and he's just standing there. And he's like, you know, I'll let me take care of your grandmother. I will, you know, take her to the store. She doesn't know how to drive. I can drive her. Let me take care of your grandmother. And then it pans out and there's Chris Farley next to him. And Chris Farley's like, for God's sakes, let the boy take your grandmother to the store. Oh, that's holy. Please. He's like, you know, let me give your grandmother a bath. I'll give her a bath. I won't even look. I'll rub her back. I'll bathe her back. I won't look at her. You know, blah 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 blah. Let me bathe your grandmother. And then when pan out and there's Chris Farley, let the boy bathe your grandmother. And you know that it was such a stupid concept when they wrote that and sent it in, or the writers or whatever, however the process is. You know, they were like, this is dumb until Chris Farley starts talking. And that's what I mean. Like, there's just these moments where you realize he is so far above without going over the top. Like he was
Oh,
extreme.
he went over the top, but
He went
it
over
worked.
the top, but it's like you wanted him to.
See, he made it
was-
work.
It
yeah.
was so unique, and you just realize like once you get to that once Chris Farley to me is funnier than Will Ferrell. Like we watched a lot of. My wife's a huge Will Ferrell guy or lady. But when she was watching it, she was like, "Let's watch the Will Ferrell stuff." So we were watching
We'll
that.
cut that
I was
out.
like, "Oh, it's pretty funny, you know. Like one, you know, he'll do a skit and it's funny, but by the time I see it the third or fourth time, it's okay. I just felt like Chris Farley just really held the moment, and I swear to God, if you can find, I'll have to find out what episode that is. But when he's the mayor's kid and the mayor's making that acceptance speech and he's climbing all over his back and stuff, and he's like, you know, making faces at the crowd, it is freaking so hilarious. Like he was just so far above. Like
there was some.
Is there a documentary?
on him.
Yeah, there is. Farley
It just
I think.
came out recently,
Yeah,
and they interview like all the old castmates and his
There's-
family.
so a story that David Spade. They were. I forget what the sketch was, but
He was
they were
afraid
in
of him.
rehearsals, and they did. He was on a crane, and he was going to be lifted up
Yeah,
out of the new set.
yeah, that's on
And
weekend.
in
Update, yeah.
rehearsals, they did it, and the crane malfunctioned, and he was just stuck up there, like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
10
saw
feet
that.
above. And he's like, "I have a bit of a weight issue."
Maybe I'm overweight. Yeah.
I don't bathe properly.
right. Right. I don't have the most healthy eating habits.
It's-
I mean, like you just realize like he just makes you smile because you're like,
he's
Yeah.
so and
He's-
sweet
he's
and
so
funny
good.
and not.
Yes.
David Spade was afraid of him.
I'm
You know
sure he
David
was.
Spade. I
He
heard
said
that David Spade
they
didn't go
just
to his
spent so much
funeral.
time together. Like sometimes, like there was something a little off with him, and he would just get
Yeah.
mad at David Spade, and no one really knew why. And he goes, "Where's David?"
I think
and
he just liked to
and
torture
Adam
David.
Sandler would have fun with that. So I remember that was one of the stories they told. They also told the story though that the one he did, the skit he did with Patrick Swayze, Chippendales, that was, they think, the skit that where he really started going downhill with the drugs. It somehow affected him in a way, even though it's the iconic skit that
He
everyone
felt he
seen.
was being laughed at.
I'll tell
And,
you. I'll tell you a story that I think is
Yeah.
a great story. That I had heard from somebody about an experience with Chris Farley. So, this was told by Matthew Berry, who is he's connected to ESPN and stuff. But anyway, he had written his big joke is that his claim to fame is that he wrote Crocodile Dundee 2. And he was like, it was like the worst movie ever. And he, it basically almost killed his career and all that other stuff. But anyway, when he was getting into that game, he lived on the East Coast and his brother, no, he lived on the West Coast in California and his brother lived on the East Coast. And his brother was like, I want to come out and I want to visit California. And so, Matt's like, sure, come on out. We'll have a good time. So his brother flies out and they're sitting at Matt's apartment and, he says, so what do you, his brother's name was Tommy. He was like, Tommy, what do you want to do here? What do you want to do? We'll take you wherever you want to go. He said, well, I want to see famous people. And he said, well, I don't really know where famous people really truly hang out. Like it's not really like that. He goes, but I know of a couple of bars where sometimes people go. And he goes, is there anybody in particular that you're looking to meet? He goes, I want to meet Chris Farley. So he's like, dude, the likelihood we're going to meet Chris Farley's slim to none. He's like, but let's go out. Let's go to some of the hot spots. Let's see if somebody shows up, you can see some famous people. So he said, we go to this bar and we're hanging out. And he says, we're there for about an hour. And suddenly there's all this commotion at the bar. Chris Farley's entered the bar. So he's like, well, there he is, unbelievable. Chris freaking Farley is here. That of all the people you want to meet, that's just crazy. And his brother Tommy's like, yeah, but man, I can't go talk to him. Like, I'm so nervous. Matt's like, just go over, we'll walk over there, just shake his hand, say you appreciate what he's, his work, and just don't annoy him or whatever. So they make their way through the crowd, and Tommy gets to meet Chris Farley. And he was like, the guy was amazing. Gave Tommy all the time in the world. He's talking about, all these things that he enjoyed him doing, and he would tell him little stories about it. And he would make him laugh. And he was, being the Chris Farley you see on TV. He was being that guy. Like he just was cracking the entire bar up, was extremely, extremely warm. He says, we leave there, we go home. My brother flies back to his house on the East Coast. I go back to trying to find work and all this other stuff. He said, I finally get this gig with ESPN, and it was probably about 2 years later. Tommy flies back out. He flies in and, Matt picks him up and he goes, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I want to go out again and I want to see if we can, meet celebrities again, whatever. I just want to, see who's out there. So he's like, I know a few bars. Let's just go. So they go to a bar. And this is 2 years later. Commotion at the bar. It's Chris freaking Farley again. He goes, I swear to God, Chris Farley walks in 2 years later in a bar again. So he tells his brother, he goes, are you going to say anything? He goes, no, I saw him last time. I'm not going to bug him. Just so happens Chris Farley walks by them. Chris Farley looks over and goes, hey guys. He goes, Tommy, you got a haircut. Look at you. Tommy got a haircut. And he starts singing, Tommy got a haircut. He knew his brother had gotten a haircut 2 years ago from 2 years ago. Like his hair was different. And he was like, that's the kind of dude Chris Farley was. He remembered my brother had cut his hair shorter when he saw him the second time. And he was like, I will always remember that about him, that he remembered that 15, 20 minutes that he talked to my brother 2 years ago, that when he saw him again, he knew he got a haircut. And he was like, that's just the kind of dude he was. And I always thought that was a really cool story.
And even remembered his name.
Yeah, he did. He said, Tommy got a haircut. He said he started teasing his brother about getting his haircut because his brother had longer hair when he saw him 2 years ago. But he was like, you understand how many people Chris Farley has seen in that 2 years? How many people have crossed his path? How many people, he's talked on the phone with? How many names have been thrown at him? And he remembers my brother 2 years later at a bar and remembers and it's like, Tommy got a haircut. And he was like, he's like, I'll never, ever forget that. Cause he's like, that is whenever anybody talks about Chris Farley, he said, that's the only experience I've ever had with him. But I love that story because he was like, it just tells people how genuinely kind he was. And that even that 15 minutes with my brother, he remembered him. And he was like, it just was always just a cool story. And I thought that was always neat, man, when I heard that story. You know what I mean?
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah, he just seemed like a great soul and a really sweet person. And definitely missed, man. I remember hearing about when he died, and I was working with a friend of all of ours, Carl, and Carl's dad was a big fan of Chris Farley's. And I remember I worked with them for a little while, and I got in my car and I was driving home, and they were on the radio. I think it was sometime in December when he died, and they were on the radio talking about his body had been found. And I remember I was going home and I turned back and I went back to work because his dad was still there. And I told him and his dad, and it was just, everybody was just devastated. It just was so sad, that we lost Chris Farley, but God, he was just so great. I mean, he was so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah. Still to this day, there's always moments in my life that I realize how much I miss that guy. And I might post it on Facebook, one of his clips, and I'll always say, I really miss this guy. Yeah. And we lost a treasure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people given a list. Given a list of, I think a lot of people who would be given a list of people to bring back, Chris Farley would be on the top of a lot of lists. You know what I mean? That have passed on. But man, he was awesome. He was awesome. He really was.
John Candy, too.
Yeah, John Candy too. Yeah.
Oh, miss John Candy.
Yeah.
Phil Hartman.
And Phil Hartman.
Oh, so sad.
Shot by his wife, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I won't say, I almost say it's funny, but it's weird. There, when we were watching the skits on Peacock, they had a skit where Fred Savage was hosting. And it was a scene. It was really funny because it was a scene where, like, it's Victoria Jackson's and Phil Hartman are the parents of Fred Savage, and they're going out for the night. And she tells Phil Hartman, she goes, "I'm really nervous about leaving. I don't want him to find your gun." And he's like, "It's fine. I put it in the liquor cabinet." You know what I mean? And and so, of course, Fred Savage, the boy finds it and he's playing with it. And there's a scene where Fred Savage is pointing the gun at Phil Hartman, and it just has this eerie feeling. You know what I mean? It's just a moment of eeriness where he's pointing the gun at Phil Hartman.
Oh, his wife shot him. That's right.
Yeah. You couldn't do that today by any means, but it just was this eerie moment where Fred Savage's character is pointing the gun at his dad, and he's like, "Put the gun down, son," and people are laughing. It's a really odd vibe, but when you realize kind of how he passed, it's like, man, that's so weird. But to make it funny, at the end of it, he's sitting there in the living room, and he sends his son to bed. He's like, and he's eating cereal out of the box, and he's like, "I just don't know where to put this gun so he doesn't find it." And he ends up realizing that he can put it in the cereal box. So he puts it in the cereal box. It's like this wonderful hiding place in the cereal box. The son will never find it. Anyway, but it was a really good skit, man. But very eerie.
Did she kill herself too? After killing him?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
I think she
she did, but it took a little while, I think.
Because
She
I'd like
went
to
and-
know more about like
she
why
went
this
and
happened.
told somebody that she'd done it.
Let's see. And I don't. Was he going to divorce her?
And so we went and saw
I think so. Yeah.
Small Soldiers, which came out after he died, but he had filmed it already.
Yeah, she
It-
drove to a friend's
And Carl
house. to
walked out.
confess.
Huh?
She drove to a friend's house to confess.
I think you all walked out.
And yeah, she called a couple of friends to confess, and nobody believed her. She tried to blame it on an antidepressant. It doesn't say whether or not she killed herself. I don't see that.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, terrible situation, man. He was really funny. I'll never forget Caveman Lawyer.
Yeah.
What about-
Was that during while he was doing news radio?
I know that I know that
Because he got replaced, right? On the show.
While I was watching, while I was watching Saturday Night Live, he was actually a host one night. So it was
Yeah, it
after
was
Saturday
after
Night Live. So it had to be
SNL.
news radio. Yeah, it had to be news radio.
So he was on news radio. I can't remember who replaced him. But
Not sure.
John Lovitz.
Oh,
John
yeah.
Lovitz.
John Lovitz, who I think is overrated. God,
I
thought
like
John Lovitz.
I like John Lovitz.
I think John Lovitz is annoying. It's like Gilbert Godfrey. I just don't see.
I
Gilbert.
love Gilbert Godfrey.
Really?
I mean, like, he gets old, but he really works. Like it works well. Like him doing the bird and Aladdin.
Affleck. Oh,
Huh?
I said Affleck, the duck.
No,
He is
the-
really respected by comedians, other
Really?
comedians. Yeah.
I just don't find him that funny.
Well,
You
there's
know,
a
I
lot
find
of
him
them that they worship that I don't get. Like,
no, he says like he's always got that real. He's got the voice that he heavily relies on. But if you really listen to what he says, he has really good
and the
jokes.
jokes are
clever
good.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
not
like-
just the voice.
He's considered a great joke writer.
Well, I mean, like, it's like
I
Bob
like-
Goldthwait, right? Bobcat Goldthwait kind of relied on his cadence and his voice.
I
Right?
saw him live up at the
Is he funny?
punchline, and he did the voice just for a little bit,
Yeah, he
So-
dropped it after a while.
but he did the whole show without the voice, and he was funny.
Really?
Excuse me, but
I remember he did a stand up in the shower. He brought a shower on stage because he got his best ideas in the shower.
mhm.
So he was like doing stand up in the shower. He was Robin Williams' best friend.
Was he really?
Oh, really?
Hmm
Huh.
He tells a
He's a
story
good-
about.
He's a decent writer and filmmaker too. He did one
Yeah.
movie, I forgot what it's called, but it's about the guy that goes on the rampage.
Yes, I was just looking that up.
Mm.
He did. He
And he's
was
done
on
some bad
hiking with
movies.
Kevin.
Huh?
He was on hiking with Kevin, and he was talking about Robin Williams used to play Medal of Honor online, the first person
Really?
shooter. Yeah, and one day he's sitting there with Robin, and he was telling the story because Robin was really quiet in real life, and they hadn't said anything in like 5 minutes. So Bob Goldthwait's like, "How old are these kids that you're playing?" He's like, "I don't know, like 9, 10, 12."
They are.
And,
I play with them, and they cuss me out.
And Bobcat was cracking up because the genie from Aladdin is calling these 9-year-olds cocksuckers, and they don't realize it.
They're assholes, man.
Yeah,
I
they
played
are.
with them, and I was like, I don't want to play anymore.
You're hurting me. I'm sensitive.
I'm just
I can't
trying to
take this.
learn. I'm new.
So when you play Scott and you die on the game, do they like cuss you out and shit?
They're like, what the fuck, Stony? Or whatever my name is on there. They're like, who is that? Stony. God damn it, Stony. You fucking suck.
It's one of the main reasons why I don't play it because I heard they're vicious as hell, dude.
They
Yeah.
are, they're mean.
I have a friend that plays it and he thinks he's really good at it, but he's terrible. Like he dies constantly. and he'll share like those Switch feeds, where you can watch, and like
Yeah.
he'll die, and you can't hear them talking to him, but you can hear him. And like he'll be playing, he'll be hiding behind a door, which is the most obvious place, and somebody turn around and just kill him dead. And then like you'll like it's silence for a minute, and then you'll be hear him be like, he'll say, "It's not my fucking fault. Fuck you, dude. Whatever. Kiss my ass. I'm out of here." Because that they're cussing him out. You know what I mean? Like they're just letting him have it, and it's just quiet. Like it's like he's hiding behind a door trying to be sneaky, and then all of a sudden, boom! Like it's he's shot, and you'll hear him be
Yeah.
like, "Damn it."
Yeah, gamers
What?
are dicks.
That-
and,
Yeah.
Fuck
and I
you
want
guys. No,
if
that's not
any
my
gamer
fault.
out there is watching, I want you to know you're a dick. You're probably not a dick, but like you hang out with dicks. Who knows?
You have a
But,
personal
like,
vendetta?
Because I like to play games. I play online with my friend Colleen, she was in Arizona, and now she's in Florida. But that's what we do almost every night, or not quite as often now. We get online and play World of Warcraft together.
Are you
And
like a wizard?
you mix in with other people. A lot of them are nice. There are a lot of people who help you out and they're friendly. But when you get in that guild with everybody together, that's when and you're in a group of like 5. There's somewhere there's 20.
It's
That's
like real
when
life.
you get the jerks. Yeah,
So, like on World of Warcraft, are you a wizard? Or, I mean, what are you?
I'm a rogue, man. Fuck that magic shit. I have my 2 knives, man, and I slice and dice and fuck people up. I do high damage. I have to move in. I'm not a range guy. She's a mage. She's a magic.
This seems like a this seems like a really weird relationship. But the fact that you guys share a common.
Oh,
interest
I
in World of
just
Warcraft.
suggested it because like we talk all the time, we text all the time. But I was like, we could hang out in this world, go do like fun shit together. We talk. We hook up on the phone, or there's like there's a voice chat feature in the game too. But generally, I just call her on the phone.
It's like
So
Ready Player
basic-
One.
Basically,
I don't care. I'm a nerd. I play
you have a
World of Warcraft,
relationship. You have
and
a
I'm
relationship.
46 years old. Huh?
You have a relationship with somebody that is built around the format of Warcraft. Or, World of Warcraft.
No. We've known each other for about 10 years now. So, but this is just something that basically when the COVID started, even though I wasn't really quarantined, I just said, "Oh, this is something we can do."
So
I've worked straight through all the quarantining. My life hadn't changed a bit.
So wait a minute. So how old is she?
She is 49, 48. She's never
And
had
so-
kids.
You guys get on World of Warcraft and
Yeah, 49 and a
something to do.
46-year-old, and we play World of Warcraft, and she gets mad at me when now she's cussing me out when I fuck up because I'm very impulsive. Like I'll just be like, "Ooh, a waterfall," and go jump off of it, and then I can't get back up, and then she gets killed, and then she's mad at me because I wasn't there.
You weren't there for her.
No.
so,
And then,
so do y'all go into battles together? Is that what happens?
yeah, well, we run around and do quests. Have to kill a bunch, like certain amount of people, or work our way through like a castle or a dungeon.
Right.
And you kill you help each other out. Each person has their strength. Like me being a rogue, I'm DPS, which is damage per second. I can do a hell of damage on somebody really fast, where she can I think she's built hers around DPS too, but she can also like freeze them or distract them or whatever, while I can like go, since I'm a rogue, I can go kind of invisible and sneak up behind them, and then if I hit them from behind, it's like knocks off half of their energy. It's awesome. I don't care what y'all think.
It's
But if you're-
cool, man.
It's like you get me talking about it, and then I realize I've just talked for 10 minutes about something that y'all don't give a shit about.
I think it's great. I think it's
Yeah.
okay to LARP. Is that what it is? Is that LARPing or no? That's role
I
playing.
guess it's a form of LARPing. It's really there's servers where they're role playing servers. So you actually you play out the part of whatever you are, and you talk to each other like you're, actually in like, I don't know, like you're role playing.
Right.
They even like, there's some where they have weddings and two people who met online, and they all line up in this.
Wait, they'll
there's
have
this
weddings.
castle
Wait.
in the game. Yeah,
They'll have weddings in the game.
yeah, with your character, and you walk down
As
the
if
aisle.
going to a wedding in real life isn't bad enough.
Right. Now you've got to do it
You,
during a game.
you have to do it during your gaming time.
Yeah, I actually
You have
ran
obligations in
through a
gaming?
wedding one time, and I was like, "What the hell are y'all doing, man?" It said it's a wedding. Like it was on the general chat, So
Can I ask you a
why-
question? If you go to a wedding, can you go invisible and kill everyone at that wedding?
no, because they're generally on your side. Like you
Oh, okay.
kill.
All right. They don't invite enemies to the wedding.
They're real people. Yeah. But now I'm in a player versus player. So like there's two factions. There's the Horde and the Alliance. I can kill the Alliance.
Right.
All right. So I can
You're a
fight
Horde.
I can fight them, and they're real people.
You
So
Horde.
that's what's fun. It's like I can sneak up behind somebody, and I've built my character badass. So I can get behind somebody who's like 3-4 levels above me, and just hit them, and they don't even know what's coming. And then I just shred them to pieces
With your two swords.
with my they're daggers. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like really long daggers, but they're badass. And they have poison. I coat them with poison.
Oh, okay. I get that. I get that. That's kind of cool. That's
Mm.
kind of cool. I think
Yeah.
it's strange to have a relationship built around that, but I think that's cool though.
It's not built around that. It's something that we just decided to do.
They're a
I said,
stranger
"Hey,
rela-
dude, you want to play this? We get to kill people." And she's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I love killing people." And so we started doing it.
So
Beat smoking meth
it-
together.
Yeah, we smoke.
it does beat smoking meth together. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
But is it
smoke
like meth? Is it like meth in a way when they tell you they're gonna like seize a dungeon or something? Like, do you get pumped up?
Hey, I mean, not no. And I don't really get pumped up.
It's
about
nothing
meth.
like meth.
Yeah, meth is way more exciting.
Yeah.
Now,
I
meth.
mean, I
and
do.
World of Warcraft.
Sometimes I feel though more obligated, like going into it, because it takes hours.
Oh,
You know, and
really?
you're dedicated. You've just dedicated yourself to these 4 people that are with you, or however many the dungeon takes, and so they're counting on you to do your part and not back out after you're exhausted and you've been playing in this dungeon for 3 hours or whatever it is. So that's the part I have a problem with. But then by the time I really get into it and get it to the end, I'm glad I did it. It's fun. And you end up with a lot of loot, and I can go to the auction house and I can sell it, or I can wear it, and then you make gold. and
Let's take on
then
a
you
whole
can
nother
buy
level.
cool stuff. Yeah,
Well,
it's all about the gold.
well,
There was actually a girl who she sold her virginity for WoW gold, and it was a story that was in the WoW news.
wait.
In real life.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah,
Can
this
we-
really happened.
can
Yeah,
we
she
break-
sold her
can we-
virginity and she just wanted WoW gold.
Wait. Hold on. Let's take a moment here.
WoW gold's valuable.
What's WoW?
Chinese
WoW
farmers-
news? Is it like a like a newsletter?
WoW gold?
No, WoW news.
Oh, well, there's different websites that are totally dedicated to WoW.
Okay.
And
All right.
and it was on all of those. I mean, if
So
you
she
type in
sells-
WoW, you'll see a million websites. I wouldn't suggest going to them. Most of them are loaded with spyware. But
So she sold her virginity for WoW gold.
yeah, and she did it through Craigslist, I believe.
How
And,
much? How much WoW gold was her virginity worth? Do you know?
I don't remember. I'm sure it was a lot, but like they have these. I mean, it's valuable. They have like whole warehouses full of people in China who just all they do is mine for gold, and then they sell it to you online for like you can get 1,000 gold for $19.99, and it goes up from there. And they just send it to you in your mailbox.
Like in your
if you
computer
want to
game
cheat.
mailbox.
If you want to cheat and do it that way. Now I've heard they've cracked down on it. I bought some when I first started playing when I was younger, back when it first came out, because it helps to have a lot of gold. But now I figured out how to just earn it. I'm sorry. I'm talking about. It's way
I'm
too
looking
much.
up the girl. I'm actually looking up. I have to look up the girl that sold her virginity for fake gold. Not bad.
Wild gold.
Wow, gold. Not bad. Not bad.
Wait,
mean, if
there's a picture of her.
Yeah, I thought I saw one of her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like she's selling her vagina for a flying mount. I guess that goes on an animal.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here it is. She would provide sexual services for 5,000 wild gold.
Okay,
How
maybe
much
that's her.
How much does 5,000 wild gold cost you, Scott?
I don't know, man. I'd have to look that up again. Like I
gotta
said,
imagine
I did that back when I first started playing a long, long time ago, which was when the game
Bought
first
gold.
started. So we're talking 20 something years ago.
I would imagine that anything under $100 here is a deal for anyone looking for sexual favors, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good deal.
What's a normal high-end escort cost you?
I don't know, but I
I
could
would
ask.
imagine
I'm not going to say that. Huh?
$800 or $900 probably.
I don't know.
What's it cost to get a stripper to go home with you?
Bag of
Probably
cocaine.
a solid
Yeah.
gram or
I don't
$500
think
or
you can get
$600.
strippers to go home with you.
Really?
Mm,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably a bad idea. You probably have to go to their place.
Okay, listen, I have to go to the bathroom. Is this going to
We're going to end it right now.
Let me go. I got to go. It's like it's
You're
a
good.
half two
Go ahead,
situation.
man. Go ahead.
Go.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Dukes of Blather. Our special co-host there, Scott, had a good time. Wick, always have fun.
Always,
anything
sir.
that you want to throw in by the end of this thing before we get out of here?
I'm going to sell my virginity for a package of clubs on WGT Golf.
I mean, come on.
I need a good driver.
That is weird, right? That's just odd to me. I mean, more power to you if you're playing that. I don't want to knock on you if you're playing World of Warcraft. Certainly, you could be doing worse things. So
Yeah,
God
absolutely.
bless you if you're doing that. Anyway, I had fun. Glad Scott joined us. He has a week ladder.
Oh,
but,
he's back.
we're out of here.
I
Scott, is there
sharded.
anything you want to say before we get out?
I should have waited for that cue to say that.
What
All
did
right,
you
so-
shart?
I sharded. No, it was just something I planned on saying when I got back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was
That's
great.
fine. All right. Anybody that's listening, yeah, go ahead, Scott. Is there anything you want to say?
Oh no, man! I was like, do we have to end it now? I was having fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got to get out of here. We've been on for 2 hours. All right.
Really?
Thanks everybody for listening.
shit.
I hope you enjoyed it. Check us out on Podbean, Google Play. We're going to be on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. So please download us.
YouTube.
Check us out. Yep, YouTube. So please enjoy the show. Tell some friends. Get us some likes. We're definitely moving up in the world. We're having fun. Scott, thanks for being on tonight. Keep looking out for us, guys. We'll be back next week with something. I'm Sam. That's Wick, and that's Scott. Y'all have a great night.
All right, good night.